Welcome. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in to try to figure out some more about these dogs. There's something I want to talk about today that I had something lined up that I was going to speak about, but I just got to speak about what's going on in my day-to-day in reality. I've been reading this book that's put a lot of thought in me of just looking at a lot of things much differently. One thing that I know we as humans, I can't just say my own self, but maybe it's just me, that we forget what it's like for somebody else as opposed to just you like seeing the world and just putting it all, that's how it all should be because that's what I see, that's what's going on. And I've always tried my best to not do that. But there is something that I've come to realize reading a very interesting book that has put a lot of thought into me of adding a higher level of complexity of wondering some stuff that I used to do with these dogs that I want to talk about again to be able to help someone out. And that's the concept of the loose leash and why I want to convince the dogs to understand what the loose leash means. Basically, you're off duty. You're not on guard. You're not on alert. I know what seems like going on in the world may seem scary, may seem threatening, but you don't have to react. You don't have to respond. And I want to do everything in my power to get that dog to be able to get to that stance that if it's scared of another dog, to get it around it enough so that I can maintain a loose leash. So I don't have to make sure that I'm getting that leash tight for to communicate to the dog that, because this is what happens to a lot of dogs, the leash gets tight, then a dog starts to think that it's got to do something more than what it's doing. It's like adding on. So that's why if you're using the leash in a way to try and get the dog to stop doing something, most cases you're going backwards because it's actually convincing the dogs to keep going more and more and more. That's why a lot of people are stumbling with like, why is my dog not actually getting better? And it's getting worse, worst case scenario, and or it's just kind of staying the same. It's not really getting anywhere. Ophi, come here. It's not really getting anywhere. And that's something that, come over here. That's something that is very interesting in a way that I want to be able to explain because I walk this world and I'm in this world in a different sense. Someone may not agree with what I'm about to say next, but it's not a matter of what you feel it should be. It just is what it is. That I'm a man that walks on this planet. I'm not scared of much. I'm not scared of seeing another girl. I'm not scared of seeing another guy. I'm not scared of much of anything. But that's not how everybody lives on this planet. And my understanding is, at the end of the day, and the unfortunate thing is, most women and most girls, y'all's kind of walking around a little terrified. Because I've always wondered, like, why is most of my work always women? It's always younger girls. I say younger girls, like 20s, mainly like 20s, 30-year-old girls. It's like I work a lot with that. And y'all's dogs are on 10, man. They on extreme reactive mode. And it's something that kind of goes on that what I used to do of my trickaroo, what I would do with these dogs, is it really is something that actually does help a lot of dogs out. Because not all times is the dog itself scared of what's going on. It's usually it's feeding off of us, and our fear is like intensifying the dog's fear, and then it's just like it makes it want to just absolutely, it just has to blow up. It goes absolutely wild. So that's something that for me, that's why I would have to make sure that the dog understands that if you are nervous, you need to start paying very, very close attention to what it is that you're nervous about to be able to get the dog to understand that it doesn't need to feed off of your fears. Your fears of seeing a weird looking dude like me out and about, and I'm just walking up to you, and you're looking at me like, what's this guy gonna do to me? You don't want to put that fear upon the dog, thinking that the dog needs to do something. Because the number one thing that happens is we grab this leash and we just pull it. I mean, thankfully for this specific, it's just that now. I don't know what would happen if she was with someone else that was more scared, but I'm not. And I noticed today this dog is confident beyond confident. She did some stuff that I even looked at it like, holy crap, like what? Like I'm a little nervous about what you're doing, but she's willing to do it. I'm like, whatever. At the end of the day, but when we're pulling on that leash, we're getting the dogs to like really pay attention to us, and that's a good thing when you're calm, chilling, having a good life. Like right now, I could pull her and pull her towards me to pay attention to me. And I'm setting her up for, in reality, success right now. Because I'm not scared. I'm sitting here calm. I'm sitting here chill. She's going to look at me and say, oh, okay, well, that's what you want me to get into. Because that's what I'm doing right now in reality. She's moving around a little bit, and I just want her to just stay right here right now. Just putting some strict rules upon her right now. Let's just hang out. You know, I don't want you to do anything. I just want to chill. So if I'm pulling on this leash right now and I'm pulling her towards me, every single time that she's sniffing, digging, going into something, I'm basically saying, let's just not do that right now. You know, not right now. This is the balance that I'm going to say is because she's able to freely do what she wants, she's going to be easier for me to be able to communicate to what I do want. And I'm telling her to look at me as I'm calm. But if I'm nervous and I'm pulling my dog to get close to me, I'm telling my dog to now really look at me. And my dog is going to look at me and it's going to want to basically match that state. So this is something that I would want anyone to just watch right now. The more that I keep pulling this dog to me right now, the more calmer you're going to watch her keep getting right now, as opposed to being the opposite effect. Because what happens is if you're like nervous, going crazy, and you're pulling your dog's going to start watching you. And that's where you're going to need like more pressure of pulling that leash more to try to get that dog too. Because up front, the dog's going to want to get away from that. You're scared. What's going on? The dog's going to get on edge. Like, if you're scared, I'm going to get out of here, or I'm going to fight that away. And that's where I like the leash to stay loose, because if you run into that fear stance, you don't want to get your dog like, this is the thing that, oh my, I see this so much, and I don't know whys and whats, and I didn't create this and make this, but I just see this in so many girls, y'all dogs. Your dogs are willing to go to battle, man, because you have such a bond with that dog that is powerful. And that's why at the end of the day, when I see like a lot of girls in protection sports, these dogs are intense, they are powerful. Something that's just different between man and woman. That it just is what it is. And you guys these girls create these dogs that are like intense. And the thing is, that dog's gonna get intense because it's feeding off and reading off of what you're doing, what's going on with you. So every time that you're pulling that dog and your dog is seeing that, you're creating like your teammate, your partner, your dog, your homie, your helper to like go insane. As opposed to just saying to the dog, you know what, you're nervous, but just say to the dog, I don't need you right now. That's the language that I really want to say. Like, I know that I'm scared, but I don't need you. Just, I don't know if you've just seen Johnny. He's a very interesting dog. I don't need you yet. I don't need you right now. So just hang out. Now, if that something comes, such as you see a suspicious looking guy like me come, and I'm starting to like come closer to you to try to speak, then that's when, like, in reality, if you see a true danger start to come, that's when you want the dog to like, okay, now look, as opposed to just, let's walk on and everything is okay. And a lot of it even isn't like a perceived you're in the moment threat. It's a what could be and what could have been and what has happened in the past threat. That what could happen, and then you start to get nervous of what could things be. And that's for sure you want to explain to the dog, don't worry about what could be's. I only want my dog to respond when it is in immediate action, immediate threat. This is where dogs get confused when they're starting to like attack like strollers and bikes, and not all bikes, but kids and little things like this. Because we as the human are like, oh my goodness, what is my dog? I don't want my dog to go to that stroller. There's a baby in there. I don't want my dog to hurt that baby. You're not scared of a baby. You're not scared of a stroller. You're scared of what could be. And that could be language. And you're pulling a dog and getting it to get closer and closer to you. You're explaining to the dog, match my energy and let's go to battle. Let's go do something right now. Let's get this threat out of here because I can see what's going on. So when we're keeping the dog at a loose leash, we're saying to the dog, you're off duty right now. This is the thing that it is what it is. This is the part that I believe is challenging us as human beings more and more today, because of we're in a higher and higher sense of fear with everything that's going on in our world. And it's like, as much as I want to say, y'all, where are you at? Like, where are you people at? Because I keep going out. This summer is the deadest summer of all the places I've been so far that, I don't watch no news. I don't pay attention to nothing. So maybe I need to figure out, like, what's going on? Where are you guys all at? I'm at all these parks. I'm at all these places. I'm at all these trails. And there's no one out here. Like, literally today I saw not one person. I'm like, where's everybody at? And we all had this, like, heightened level of fear. And I can't straight up look at you and say, get rid of that fear and that's how your dog's going to be good. Because that's how I could say your reactive dog and take it a walk from me, and it doesn't do that. Because I'm walking in the world like, in reality, just straight up, I don't care. You want to hurt me right now? Do it. If you got something you want to do it. I'm just like I don't know how to say it, that I'm just living in this world, not trying to be nervous of what could be or what is be, but I'm just living. If I see something suspicious, I look at it and say, yeah, whatever. You're going to do something about it? Then just make it happen already, instead of just sitting there staring at me like that. That's how I am. So, of course, my dogs are going to stop that reactive stance. But I ran into a situation with my dogs where usually on the opposite of what a lot of people's dogs are. My Johnny, I don't know what he is. I still got to get a DNA test on this dude one day. My Shepherd mix man and my German Shepherd Kahi, they both reacted to girls, to women. Anytime a girl will come close to me, and it's, oops, sorry, girl. And that's the the opposite in reality, and it's the opposite because there's not really many dudes that are scared of women, I'm going to say, for the dog to have to get into that stance. But for me, it wasn't me being scared of them. It was me being in a perceived of what could be. You know, me, I just grew up around a lot of girls and a lot of stuff, and I've been in a lot of sticky situations with a lot of girls in my life that every time that I start to talk a little bit more, things start to get awkward, and I just got nervous of that. That's why I don't talk to rarely, no female today, because I don't want it to be awkward. I don't want things to think that it could be anything. And I would always get in this like, this dread of like, I don't know how to explain it, but just this dread of like, just leave me alone. And then I would put that out, and then my dogs would react and they would respond to girls. And then once I realized like, I gotta let that go. So for me personally, I just had to let it go. But for me, it's not like I was in a immediate danger or I felt like someone could actually physically harm me. It was just a mental game that I was in, that it was not easy, but it was simple compared to actually being in a physical threat of a guy that's 6 foot tall, 200 pounds walking up to you in the middle of the backwoods somewhere, and he's looking at you like he's about to do something. Like, that's a whole different situation. And that's where things are gonna get complicated, because I can't say to you, get over it. That your dog is always going to be a mess, because that's something that is going to be there, and your dog is only going to get better if you're able to get over that fear. And that's not realistic at all. That's not realistic in any sort of way. And this is the thing that why a lot of dogs, they don't start reactive, they get there later on. And some of y'all, you get a dog right away and you realize like it's reactive towards other dogs in such a way, but it's usually a lot of dogs out of the shelter because of that barrier frustration. And again, once we explain to that dog to keep the leash loose, that barrier frustration starts to go away and go away and go away. But when the leash is tight and you're nervous, because I mean, it's scary looking, it's intense. When your dog is at the end of the leash pulling, you're trying to pull back, it's intense. So when you're pulling back, you're in this like crazy, like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Especially if it's like a dog on the other side of the fence. This stuff is intense, man. Because you can see that dog, especially if it's like a chain link fence, you can see it. It's savagely barking right at you. No, not holding anything back. It is just going wild, right in your face. And you're just looking at it like, and then your dog is going right at it, trying to match it, trying to get nose to nose with that dog. And you're like, so you're pulling that dog, and that dog is looking back at you in this high, extreme level of fear. So then your dog thinks, I need to keep going into this. That's what we need to get the dogs out of. Because in most cases, the dogs are they're pretty neutral. And they're able to get neutral pretty fast, because we're able to put them in. I've seen this just many times. You put the dogs around what they're perceived to be nervous of, and you stand and keep yourself at a distance where you're not going to be getting nervous anymore. You allow your dog to be able to see that you're not nervous, and the dog's like, oh, okay, that's what that means. Because in most cases, in most all of these dogs, it is too much work for them to be on edge and be on guard. It's too much. It is like so stressful. It is so hard for a dog to just be like on alert at every little thing and barking at every dog walking by and barking at everything. It is too much for them to do. That's why a lot of times some of the dogs that, straight up, I'm going to say that I have seen in my face that I've given, I get that word, it makes it sound prettier than it is, but I've punished a dog for barking at another dog, and I've seen the dog relax because the dog's like, oh, I don't need to do that? Cool. Because I hated doing that anyways. Because most of these dogs actually don't like doing that. But the main thing that I'm going to say that I've realized that punishing the dog doesn't really work all that great in that, because then it gets the dog, this is where things can get messed up. Then that dog could think that that dog punished it as opposed to being you, because they're so far focused in what they're doing. So then it basically like lost that battle. So then the next time the dog's going to have to reassess the situation, wondering, should I go into that battle, or is this battle something that I'm going to be able to be on top of this time, instead of like getting basically getting beat down this time. And that's something that is so tricky. And that's where for someone that I could say really knows what they're doing and is really good with what they got going on, they can make some things appear to be good and appear to be good really fast. But that's the thing where it's like, that's not what everyone wants to do with your dog. And I know that you don't need to do that with your dog. But the number one thing that we need to really start to understand the most about is keeping that leash loose, especially if you're not in a calm, just hanging out stance. If you're all aggravated, you're all frustrated, you're all nervous, and you're pulling that dog towards you, your dog is going to match that. But if you're just chill and calm and relaxed and you pull on that leash, the dog's gonna look at you and say, hey, oh, hi, what's going on? What are you doing over there? Everything's okay, everything's cool. That's something that I'm just realizing about this leash, that is like, most cases we're using it in a backwards stance, in a backwards way. Because we're pulling the dogs and getting them to get in tune with us. It's something that is I don't know what it is, but these leashes are amazing, man. But the main thing is they're amazing in a sense for where I see it today of how I'm able to work with my dogs, because I understand that when I'm calm and I use this leash and I maneuver the dogs, it calms them down. It relaxes, especially when I'm on neck control. You know, this is I don't even know what this is, 2 inches, I think it's 1.75 inches thick, flat collar here. This leash is powerful, especially when my dog is calm. My dog is calm, and I got this fat leash. Granted, I do have a slip leash, but it's hooked to a carabiner onto this leash. I'm just not trying to spend no more money on no more stuff. I've already overspent for equipment on my dogs that I'm a little too far into this. So I'm trying my best to be on a cheap budget nowadays. But the main thing is, since she's calm, I'm calm. The slightest little motion that I give to this leash is something that is going to be very, very easy for her to understand what it is that I want. So even like right here, if I'm like, I don't care. If I'm sitting, I don't care if she jumps on me, so I don't really mind it. So if I give her a little bit of pressure back and just to say, that's not what I want, we're not fighting right now. We're just doing this back and forth because she's calm, I'm calm. Now the leash is able to explain to her what it is that I'm actually looking for. I want you to be calm. That's what I want from you right now. I don't want you to be hyped up. But if you're hyped up and you're pulling them towards you, the dog starts to get hyped up. And this is where you good? This is where it starts to get challenging, because us as humans, I can't say to you, stop being scared of your environment. Just that's why your dog is a mess, is because you're nervous of what's going on. You're nervous of the news that you keep getting. You're nervous of all this other stuff. You're nervous of just the world and everything that's going on. That's something that at the end of the day is, it is what it is. We're in this world, and we're not just gonna come out here and just get up. Hey, you got a death grip on that thing. We're not just gonna get out of it on just waking up one day and just being good to go. That's not how it works. But that doesn't mean that just because you're nervous that you can't get your dog to be able to get in a better place. Because again, most of the reactivity stuff that I see out of the dogs that are like barking at dogs, barking at kids, barking at strollers, barking at people, it's us that's putting it on the dog. The dog actually isn't scared itself. It's us being nervous. So if you're put your dog around a group of dogs and you're nervous and you got the leash tight and the dog is going into it, your dog is like, do I need to be nervous of these dogs? What do I need to be worried about right now? And then your dog is going to be a little on edge. And when your dog is on edge, it's going to force the other dogs to like be suspicious. Like, dude, why are you on edge? Like, we just trying to hang out and you coming over here a little hostile right now. And then that's going to create a little tension. That tension can create those dogs to treat your dog away. And then that can lead to a bad scenario for your dog because you're nervous, you're tense. This is how someone could take your dog and put it in a scenario that you are too scared about and see your dog shine and do good. But when you're there and you're nervous and you're scared, your dog is feeding off of that. And that's something that the only way that I can see to be able to like get around this is the concept of get your dog off leash for one. And the first step of that is getting your dog to be able to understand what a loose leash is to be with you and to understand that we're safe. This is why I'm going to continue to keep preaching the same message of if you're finding that your dog is scared of dogs and it's barking at dogs, get yourself somewhere where you know that there's going to be traffic. And unfortunately, man, nowadays you've just seen where I'm at in my area and what's going on around here. That's hard to do because people just aren't out right now. Like, where are you guys at? What's everybody doing right now? Like, why aren't you outside doing stuff? But get yourself somewhere that you can find you a nice little bench and just sit down and just hang out and just relax and just be there. Because this is the thing, even like you're even seeing that I'm doing right now. I'm taking every little thing from her that she could like focus her mind away from what we're actually doing right now. Because what I'm doing with her right now is I know the chickens are here, but we're chilling. And she's like, well, I'm going to grab this stick. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this to try to like escape it. And that's the concept with us as humans. You know, we'll get in another relationship. We'll start drinking. We'll start smoking. We'll start doing something. We'll start doing anything to escape the emotions that are going on inside of us. But we just got to just sit in it. So right now, I want her to just sit in it. You can see how she's like, she wants to do. And this is the part that, again, in the wrong hands, this dog would be crazy, as she was when I first got her. And she was going downhill because no one was like putting into her of being calm. Everything is just excited to go wild. Because like now I'm able to get her to understand what I'm looking for based on me we're sitting in it. And me even today, I'm going deep because I keep seeing bunnies and rabbits and it's almost like something for me that I'm going to change her whole diet up because I'm not sure her body likes the chicken. So I'm going to go on a full rabbit diet. So I'm actually found a place. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of rabbits, but not only just to buy the rabbits just for her to be able to consume, But for me to just have one and put it in the cage and just put it right there so that she could just see it. And if I could get myself a hands on a squirrel, I'm going to find me a squirrel. If that cost me $100 to find me a squirrel, I'm going to get a squirrel and put it in the cage and just put it right there so that we could just sit in it. So that she could just get through it, get past it. And for me, that's how I can fast track stuff. That's how I'm able to fast track dogs out here doing what I'm doing. Because I put them around the pig first. The pig, I don't know what it is, but dogs get freaked out over the pig. And I just stand by the pig and hang out. The pig is friendly as all can be. He's chill. I can pet him, and then the dog sees that, and he's like, and they're like, oh, okay, we're cool. The dog instantly looks at me like a solid leader. I can take him to the donkey. I got control over it. I could just wave the donkey away if he wants to get a little too much. And I put the dogs around. The dogs are going crazy over the donkey, so I can fast track things by being able to put them in it and just make them have to deal with it. And that part of dealing with it is the part that I get. There's a whole side of dog training that is just totally against what I'm saying with that. That your dog should never be in stress. And me, I'm a force-free trainer in a way, I could say. I force the dog with the leash, but I'm not like worried about corrections and discipline and punishment. I don't go that route, but I do. That's the only way I guess I can say it, because it's just a natural way of saying it. I punish the dog to make it go through the stress to deal with it so they can get through it and to make it to be neutral. So that the dog doesn't have to go into fight or flight anymore. It could just go into whatever. It's all good. We're just chilling. And the dog is going to go through stress to get to that point. But the thing is, this is what's, just if I can get people to really focus on the dog a little bit more, I'm telling you, you can better your life, because these dogs have the capability to be able to do something for us. When I could see that my dogs are able to calm, when I put them around something that is stressful, and I could see that they start to calm down, it just gives me like this realization of something that I am also able to be able to do myself. Because these dogs are incredible in the fact of how I can see just transformations happen from them being what appears to me as like nervous and scared to seeing them how quickly they can become indifferent to things. It just lets me know like the power of I can do that same thing. I can be that same way. And these dogs are quick to get indifferent, especially when they're looking at us as I'm calm, I'm good. And pay attention to me, I'm fine, I'm good here. Because even right there, Johnny's coming up looking all wild at her, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna get up and get into this. But the main thing is we're gonna stay very neutral, because I'm neutral. I'm not nervous of what this dog's gonna do. I'm not nervous of what anything is gonna do out. There's only one thing that I'm nervous of out here, and that's my bull just randomly trying to run at me. But that's why I leave my border collie out all the time when I'm out here, because if that happens, he gets that bull out of here like in a flash. That's the only thing I would say that I'm half nervous of out here. I'm not even nervous of snakes. I'm not nervous of nothing. So me being here, I'm calm because I feel very secure with what I got in my situation right now. I feel very, very just relaxed. And this is why, again, get to a place where there's a bunch of dogs if your dog's nervous with dogs, so that you can sit down and just chill. And when you're chilling, your dog is going to see that. I want my leash to be loose so that my dog could just be in that presence. And then if my dog decides that it wants to try to go somewhere else, I'm going to give that dog a little guidance to come, hey, check in on me. Check in on me. You nervous because you're stuck staring at dog? Or even excited? Because they both can look the same. Overexcitement and over nervousness to the average person looks identical in the dog. So when the dog even is over stimulus and their tail is going too much, I could just pull them to me. Because right there, she's staring at Oreo. He's chasing the baby chick right now. And she's like, I want to get in on that. And she starts to get a little there. So since I'm calm, I could pull her towards me. And she's going to look at me and say, oh, we just hanging out. So yeah, we just hanging out right now. We just chilling. We not doing anything. And the more and more that she sees this, the more that she understands what that leash means. That leash means when it starts to get a little tight, calm down. There's nothing for you to worry about right now. There's nothing to worry about. We're good. Everything is fine. And then if something seriously dangerous were to happen, the unfortunate thing, most of your dogs aren't going to follow through because they're out of that fear. But if it's real, more than likely, some of y'all's dogs might do something about it. But the main thing is we want the dogs to not be in this super excitable or super fearful mode to be able to make a wise decision of what to do next. Because there's always going to be just the weirdness that's going on out here. There's just the strange things that go on. For me, I've learned how to dance around the world to be able to help out other people with their dogs, of how I can like release the energy, the pressure off of you so that you can just do what you do. You know, everyone's always just staring right at my dogs, just staring at them hard. And it puts them in like a sense of like, what's going on? what's happening? What are you doing? Where I'm like, I just like, I'm over here. So then your dog doesn't really react too much anymore. And then my dogs know that because especially my shepherd, she's getting there. But I mean, she's almost dead on point now today with helping out these reactive dogs. No one barks at us anymore. This day when I got this dog, everyone started barking at me again because she's just doing the whole stare at him as well. And I'm explaining to them, no, we're just gonna go this way, guys. Leave them alone. Because that dog's nervous, let's just go. Now if the dog's not nervous, my dogs will like, hey, how's it going? They'll look a little, they're different with that. And that's what I want to be able to get into more and more people's minds of understanding. That leash, if you're keeping it loose, that's going to explain to the dog, I don't need you to join the team with me. I know that I'm nervous right now, but I don't need you to we're not going to battle right now. I don't need you right now. I'm nervous, I'll get through it, and I don't need you to respond to that. That's something that gets these dogs to be like real crazy looking. At the end of the leash, real crazy looking. Because they're like being on like your teammate trying to get someone out of here and try to push them out of here, push the dog out because you're nervous of the dog, and then it keeps going down and down and downhill. And the dog doesn't know how to get out of it because it just keeps doing it over and over. And then the dog gets frustrated to the point that it's like, I'll just do it. I don't know why my Pyrenees howls when fire trucks and everything drive by. He gets to howling. It's the funniest thing. But that the dogs just get faster and quicker at it. That's when it's just like an instant response. We want to slow all that down, slow it down. Because if you're trying, and this is another thing that, one thing I guess real amazing that I learned in a dog training school, that we say some things, but we don't do some things. And that's the concept of when you're working and interacting and doing stuff with your dog. Like, be calm. And I know that's a hard thing to do, but if you're inside of your home and you're feeling some sort of danger, I need every single person right now that's feeling that way to you need to do a self-audit right now. What's around you? What's going on? What are you putting yourself in? Because your home, for one, should be a safe spot. It should be a safe place. And if you don't feel safe there, you should be able to go to the park and sit down on a bench and feel pretty safe. I mean, especially you live here in the United States of America, you should feel pretty safe. I understand there's all the danger of who this and who that, but especially if you're in the house and you have this huge sense of danger behind you, then you need to figure out what's going on so that you can get that situation fixed. Because if we're coming at these dogs always nervous, always scared, always frantic, always anxious, always in a huge amount of fear, we're just feeding that to the dogs all day long. And the dogs are just matching that. And then that's why they look crazier and crazier and crazier. That's why they're jumping out of the windows to try to get to you. That's why they're pacing the house and chewing the whole house up when you're gone. Because you're feeding all this fear. So you're in your own home fearful. Now your dog's like, oh, you're not about to leave me alone in this place. I'm about to die in here. And that's what I see when the dogs are breaking out of the crates. Because they're about to die. Something is going to come and kill them. So they have to get out of here. So they're able to be on their feet to be able to escape this danger. And that's what we need to switch in the dog's brains. But if you're at home all day, because the unfortunate, I know no one wants to, this is why I don't really like talking too much about work that I do, because some of y'all personal business needs to stay personal, but there's things that I've learned working with dogs that the dog is the easy thing to fix. A lot of y'all are scared of your spouses, scared of your children. A lot of your children are scared of the parents. And that's what's getting the dogs to just get real nasty. And that's where the husband or the wife starts to get to, I got to get rid of this dog, because you start to get scared inside of your house what this dog's going to do. And it's at the end of the day, we stuck with the men are abusing and hurting the women all the time, but that may be like the outside of going to death. But inside of our homes, in most cases, it's the opposite of that. That's just what I see, what I work with, what I'm constantly just doing over and over. I see some very, very sticky situations going on. And then we want to fix the dog without fixing the core issue of what's going on here. And that's where, for me, another thing that a word that I would use, which is a correct word, is manipulate the dog, is to, if you see them getting into it, you go to your crate. You go to the back room. So I would tell the dog, this isn't your battle. You get out of it. You escape it. And that's what my loose leash is saying to the dog. So since I'm not calm and I'm trying to be able to get my dog to be calm, if I can't be calm, I want to be able to, at the end of the day, it is what it is. This is why you can have some success, I'm going to say, with what I'm saying here, but not the best of the best, because this is where, again, why a lot of, homeless people's dogs are nice, because they're not too scared on the streets. They're not too scared of what's around. They're not scared to sleep on the street tonight. They literally would just sleep anywhere. And that confidence, oh my goodness, the dogs just love that confidence, man. They love it. They love being able to go places and not have any worries of being scared. They have some random person could come up and ask them, and they're just like, oh, what's up? We're friends. Everyone's friends. So the dogs just feed that. But this is the part where we can get the dogs to be really, really nice. To close to that is by teaching the dog that when that leash is loose, everything's good. Everything's fine here. Everything is all right. The dogs would prefer to see us always confident, always good. This is the thing that I would want more and more people to really just study. The people that have like the nice dogs that you see are nice. The people that are just like, they say, you know, I don't care what methods they use with the dogs, but look at that person and see how like calm that person is. When they're with their dog and they're out in public with it, just see how they're just walking and they just don't care. Watch how they have the nicest looking dogs because the dog wants to follow that. And that's something that in reality, us as human beings, we're falling behind with that. We're getting worse and worse. We're getting more and more scared of everything around us. Should we be? I don't know. But most of it to me is just made up stuff in reality. That we're like forcing ourselves to be scared of something that we shouldn't even worry about. You know, a lot of us are scared to go out because of something that's going on in some other country. And it's like, that's way over there. That's got nothing to do with here. But we stay locked in because of what's going on over there. And because the world is one today, we get information about everything. And you think like, oh, that's my neighborhood. And it's like, no, your neighborhood isn't like what's going on other side of the world. But we get in this fear trap. And that's what's driving more and more everything around us in reality, to just keep getting into chaos. And that's what drives the dogs into more and more chaos. And something huge that I had to understand about myself is when I'm sitting here all anxious and all excited and all nervous, my dogs were that way. And this is where, for me, I ran into a blessed situation with my border collie. Because when I got him, I was a mess. I was a mess, man. Like, just straight up, be honest. I got to be honest about my own self to just recognize that I was a mess. I was anxious as all can be. I was depressed as all can be. I was just all in my thoughts and couldn't function, couldn't get anything done all day. I had so much anger. I don't know why, but I had so much anger. I just had like this rage. And the thing is, I didn't have to like express that upon the dog, which unfortunately some people do that. And if I see that in the household, I'm frank. I don't care. I'm just like, dude, get off the dog, get rid of the dog. Because you can't put that anger upon the dog. I put that anger on, my goat's always breaking out. So I put that anger and I express that anger and I push that anger into my dog to get him to work better. That dude, this is why I don't really like showing him do too much of his work, because if I need him to do something today and I tell him to get on and get a hold of it, you could see the anger in me, in him. But the thing is, he thrives off of it. It makes him work even better. It gives him more confidence. It makes him just like powerful beyond powerful. He's not scared of nothing because he's got this like this passion behind him that is so tough. And for me, I'm gonna say lucky, because that anger, I put it out somewhere. I wasn't so much as like yelling or I was chasing the goats to just show my dog what to do. But I expressed it by just, for one, running, getting exercise, for one, building fences, digging holes. I expressed that anger out in a way, and it was just there. And my dog was feeding off of that. But if I did that today with any of my other, because that's when my German Shepherd, my Kahi, he let me know right away, dude, if you even think about looking at me hostile at all, even today, as soft as he is, if I come at him with like I said so language, that boy looks back at me, he says, dude, what did you say? What are you trying to do? So he humbled me. He showed me a whole different realm of life. And the same with this dog. If I come at her with any like, I said so, she's just like, I don't want to say shuts down, but she don't want nothing to do with me. She's on the move of, I got to get the heck out of here. I don't want to be nowhere near this person. I don't want nothing with them. And it's something that's going on in our households. And that's where, for me, I go to the crate. Go to your crate. Get out of it. It's not about you. I'm not mad at you. There's nothing wrong with you. Go over there. The same with the loose leash. It's not about you. It's me. I got something going on, and I don't want you to think that we're doing this here. Because it works two ways there. The dog is like trying to match you to like, we're going to go do stuff, or the dog thinks that you are reflecting towards it. And this is where this is the part where I could say the word danger with dogs. when us as humans, when the dog is out of the owner's sight, it's no longer a danger. But when the dog is with owner and the dog goes and barks and lunges and we like pull the leash, we tell them no, the language that starts to happen in some of these dogs, not all, but some of these dogs, is you didn't do that good enough. That's why you got punished. That's why I punished you, because you didn't do it good enough. You didn't do it fast enough. You didn't respond enough. You didn't make a big enough scene. So then a dog gets in it that it does more and more and more and more and more. And that's where when the dog starts to get dangerous, because it's feeding off of thinking like you want it to do that and it's getting punished because it's not doing it more. That's a dangerous situation. That's the unfortunate thing, is when most people then call dog trainer at that moment, as opposed to way before when it was like it was much, much better. And when you're in that scenario, that's where we're in the concept of that trauma right there, that bond. We have a negative association going on with that dog, and that dog is I don't want to use this word, but damaged. And that dog is going to need a lot of like comfort and reassurance to come back from that, because that dog has been psychologically abused and destroyed. And we got to do a lot to bring that dog back. Can we bring them back? Yes, we could bring the dog back, but it's not an overnight fix. It's not a matter of using enough treats to get them there. It's not enough of using enough pressure to get them there. That dog needs to be able to see and be calm with you. That's why for me, the main thing that I speak of is kind of most people that are needing help, you're in that scenario right now. That the dog is like, it's crazy. And you've used a trainer and it didn't get anywhere. And you used a trainer and it didn't get anywhere, because you have a negative relationship going on with your dog. And we got to turn that to be positive. That's why I say to grab dog, grab a leash, grab a collar, and have the dog hang out with you. And stop doing anything to them. All expectations, throw everything away. Don't expect that they sit. Don't expect that they down. Don't expect that they even want to be around you. Expect that that's what you give them. Is 6 feet, they're 6 feet, give them 6 feet. If you pull them towards you and they cower, you give them 6 feet. And some of you might even need to double up on the leash. You give them 12 feet. So the dog could be at a distance so that you could build a new positive relationship, as opposed to the negative one that's there right now. And the dogs, they could do some crazy looking stuff. And it's not because they're being disobedient. It's because of the negativeness that's going on, that it's just driving them insane. And that could start all from our fear as humans, and not how to properly explain to the animal, like, this is my fear. I don't need you to react to that. You react to your own fears. I'll help you through your fears. But most of this stuff, this is why I want people to just stop and look at your own dogs, please. Study your dogs. Pay attention to your dogs. Don't look at this dog and be like, oh, what he's doing with his. No, what I do with mine is this is the part, especially in this book I'm reading, your intuition, your gut knows more of what to do. If you're feeling uncomfortable with your doing, just know that it's wrong. Straight up. Like, trust yourself. Trust that you know what's best. Trust that you know what to do. Trust that if you have to yell at your dog for something sometimes, it's okay. It's not going to ruin you. Trust that. I still wouldn't. I don't think that communication is needed by using the word punishment with correcting with leashes and collars. I don't think that is an effective way to communicate personally. As much as it seems like it works, I think that, forget what I think, I know that I don't need it. So, and if I know that I could do something a different way, I'd rather just do it a different way to be able to get what I need. And I may not get it like now, but I'll get it. And when I get it, it's going to be something that I'm going to much more appreciate in the end, rather than sitting here trying to put something that I might mess things up between me and the dog. And the main thing is, if my dog already isn't listening to me punishing the dog with the leash or a collar, that's only going to make things kind of go backwards. It's going to make the dog want to push away even more. And then worst case scenario, the dog just submits, because it's a lot that I just see, it makes it go backwards. If you're good to go, like right now, if on this dog, I still just won't do it because I just don't see the need to. But if I right now put like a prong collar and e-collar on this dog, and I'm not too sure what she does that I don't like anymore, because I've been able to get through everything I want without having to do that. But if not day one, because I would want to be able to be where I am with her right now, that she somewhat listens to me really, really good. In sticky situations, she listens very good. If I just let her be free right now and I tell her to come back, she probably won't, because she's looking at me and just saying, why are you hounding me right now? And I'm just like, today I'm just like, I understand. But if right now, if I just took this leash and I just yanked it, I'm gonna guarantee that she's gonna be like, what's going on? Hi, yes, everything's okay, I'm fine, I'll be right there. But if I'm doing that and we're already like in a negative, toxic, damaging relationship, that's gonna force it to just go further away. That's why when you go to the one trainer, it's like it didn't work, the next trainer didn't work, the next trainer didn't work, and in reality, you just keep going more further and further and further downhill. And that's where I want to get out of that for a lot of people. And the main thing is the dog needs to understand what this loose leash means. It means nothing. Just hang out. I don't need you to do anything right now. I don't want you to do anything right now. I want you to just hang out. And this isn't abusing the dog by not giving them something to do right now. The something to do right now is to just to be here and just to be in existence. This is the thing right now that I'm going to say, like, I think a lot of people are struggling with, and even saying what I'm about to say right now, you're probably still going to be confused. But like, people get stuck up and hung up on like, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose? Where's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? I hear this so much, especially from young guys. I don't have a purpose. I don't know what to do. I don't know what my purpose is. Everyone else seems to know their purpose. Where's my purpose? And this can lead someone into just negative thoughts. The purpose, what I've understand the purpose of life is to live. Period. That's it. Just to live. Just to be here. Just to be alive. That's our purpose. What's coming next? It's not for us to decide to dictate that. It's going to happen. This is the concept of the freedoms of what we do. If we had freedom, then we would do whatever we wanted to do, but we don't. We don't actually are able to do that. We're just here to live. We're just here to be. And when you understand that, the weight of the world starts to relax. You don't need to buy a car and buy this kind of car, buy this kind of house, buy this kind of this, do this kind of stuff, be like this, do like what you see everyone else do this, do. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to be. And that's where you're going to find that peace, because you're not looking at something else that's going to make you happy. And that's what dogs represent, being and hanging out. They got their work that they need to do. Same with us as humans. We got the work that we need to do. We do that, and then we just need to hang out and just relax. And the more that we do that, the more we're going to relax and calm down. The more we're going to be at peace. Because that's what's going on with this dog day by day, by week, by month by month. The more that we go up, we do our work. Now, granted, she's a little more worked right now. We did just go for a run. But this is how she looks pretty much all day because of that run. I got to get someone to help me video to show you like the power of what she's able to do already. It's impressive. She's outworking my Kahi at this point because she's got the stamina, but it's the heat that's been killing her, and she's getting better with the heat. And she works, man. She works. She digs deep. She lets it all out, everything out, and she gets a chance to do that. And for her, again, it doesn't take much. If I let her, because right now she can only do about 4, maybe 5 minutes max of a hard pull run, all out. She's going all out. She's into the harness. She's pulling as hard as she can be. She's pulling me. She's dragging me along. 4 to 5 minutes of that, she's done. She's just finished. And then I just walk as a leisure to I'm building her stamina so she could do more. I'm trying to get her she needs to be able to do I want at least 20 minutes, but 15 minutes is what I'm looking for. But I want her to pull as hard, like psycho-like, for at least 20 straight minutes. And she can't do that. And I get her to do that, and she looks like this all day. She's very, very chill all day for 5 minutes of that hard work that she's doing. After that hard work, we hang out, we chill. We relax. We're just being here. And right now, I'm just doubling up on her training as I do with all of my dogs all the time, all day long. Every time I'm doing something, I'm said training. I'm doing some sort of work. I'm doing something. So right now, she's like, she wants to do something because she's trying to get this, like, she sees all the dogs right there. Johnny's right there, Ori's right there, Shadow's right there, everyone's there. And she's trying, like, she's wanting to hold it back. So she's got this energy of, I want to go do that. And so now she's like, I'm going to chew on this bone right now to try to, like, ease my mind. But I want her mind to just sit in it. She's going to be okay. She's going to be fine. And she'll get better and better and better at that. That's how you get a dog to be so chill, so calm, so relaxed. Because a dog it's able to deal with it. We're not like masking it. Right now, if I'm just feeding her treat after treat after treat after treat after treat, she would stand here. She would stay here. She would look really good. It's like, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just treat, treat, treat. But she's not learning how to deal with what's going on. She's just learning that we need to be all on top of them all the time. Right now, I'm teaching her how to be independent, how to be able to handle herself on her own. Don't have to run to this or run to that. You see, every time I take that, you see her. Now, I'll watch this video back just to verify everything that I'm seeing right now, trying to pay attention to. So my mind is going overboard right now because I'm trying to speak what I'm speaking, but paying attention to her and doing all this at once. It's just my life. This is how I get tired. I got to work my brain like crazy. But just seeing that she's looking at them and she's getting in her, like, she's getting anxious. And after a little bit, like right now, we'll see what she does because Johnny's walking up. She's like going, and then she goes to that something to chew something because she's trying to let it out. She's trying to escape it. She's trying to escape that feeling. And I'm telling her, no, you'll get through it. You'll get through it. You'll get through it. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. And she's going to understand that. And that's the part where I want to explain to them to be independent themselves. That's how a fearful person is going to be able to get their dogs to get out of that reactivity. I can't get you, the human, to just give up. I wish. If I can get you to stop being scared of the world, I don't know anything on this planet in reality that could do that. I don't know anything. I'll say on this planet. I know some other things that can assist you in that, but anything on this planet, there's nothing that you can buy. There's no medications you can take. There's nothing you can do to just get out of all your fears just like that, just because. You willed it away. I'm not scared of anything. Because if you weren't scared, I'm telling you, watch your dog transform, just not overnight, but give it like a week or two. And you're going to see your dog just super mellowed out. Especially if it's been reactive for like 3 or 4 years. You're going to watch your dog just, man, it's going to sleep. It's going to look good. It's going to look real nice. Because that's what the dogs in reality are craving from us, that calmness. That's what we as human beings are looking for. This is why for me, when I even talk to people, I end up in hours of conversations with people, especially face to face. And this one thing they always say, like, dang, how are you so calm? And I'm like, because that's been my mission, how to figure that out in life. How to calm myself down, how to be chill, how to be that. And the main thing I realize is stop worrying about outside stuff and just worry about what you got is good enough. What you got is good, man. Is you good. Everything is good. And that's been able to let a lot of those layers go. But as far as if someone's got a gun pointed right in my face, I mean, they better point it today. I already been shot in my life, and I'm not going to play around with stuff like that. So my level of fear with that probably would be different than the next person's. But I'm not just going to be like, it's all good, everything. No, I'm going to be like, something's happening. Something serious is going down. But I can't just make that disappear. That's life. That's what we got out here. But I don't want to have to put that on the dog. I want the dog to know that it's okay. I don't need you to respond to what's going on with me. You do you. I be me. Because the dogs don't want to be in that. The dogs want to be calm. And that's the cool thing about a dog that is really nice. This is where, for me, my Johnny can help out a lot of people right now with your anxiousness. If you're nervous, you're weird. Johnny, get off of him. If you're nervous, if you're anxious, you can just be around this dog. And he will just, like, you have no choice but to look at him and just be like, wow, dude, like, I want to relax because of how relaxed you are right now. And that's a great dog to be around because that's the whole concept of like the real working dogs, a real good therapy dog is so chill that you see them so calm that you like have to match that because that's how powerful they are. And that's something that I want all of us to be able to get our dogs into. I know you're nervous, but I want to see that your dog is calm. Your dog's calm, you're going to like, oh, everything must be okay. And it comforts you. It relaxes you. That's such a beautiful thing to be around. As opposed to the dog, you were working opposite this way. This is the thing, these dogs are here at the end of the day to help us. They've been doing everything in their power since day one. Human beings said, we're not even, dogs came to us. And they came closer and closer to us. We didn't even like go out and try to take it. It came to us. So since it comes to us, it wants to do for us. And when it wants to do for us, when a dog is chill and relaxed, it makes you want to be that way. You just want to give it a hug and it just relaxes you down. It's like, whew, that was good. That was great. That's the way it's supposed to be, not the other way. Right now we're backwards. Our dogs are like getting us the opposite of that. Where we need to start working on this to be able to get into a better place. Thank you. Ophi. Come here, girl. It's just something about working with these dogs that is very, very interesting. And the more and more I keep on reading more, learning more, figuring more up, dang, all y'all coming up and hounding her now. Get off of her. The more and more I keep on learning and reading about just other stuff, not even just dogs, but us as humans, the more I realize how much not in control we are. And I think that that's puts people in fear like no other. That lack of control, that lack of being able to like, now I'm telling you what I want. That lack of control of you're not sure what would happen. And that's the hardest thing for any of us to like want to let go of. And that's the one thing that we put too much, like even me, I still do put on my dogs of trying to control a little much than I need to worry about. But that's something that we do because we get nervous and we're unsure. And being nervous and unsure puts us into it's a downhill effect. It just gets worse and worse and worse. It just keeps going down and down and down. And that's something that at the end of the day, it's always going to be there because we're never going to be in control of everything. We're just living. Stuff happens. We all know, we always hear oh, you did something bad, that's why this bad happened. But stuff happens just because. I don't care how bad or how good of a person you are, stuff happens. Stuff happens that's just, we don't get to control pretty much anything in reality. And the moment that you really understand that is the moment that things start to just get better and better. You start to able to just live and be and not have to like be too much in your thoughts of what could be, what any of that stuff, but just living and just looking around the way that the dogs do. My dog looks at something right now, and if they're nervous this second in this moment. What's going on? She's not nervous of what could happen later on, what could be even a half a second from now. She's in it right this second, right now. So that's what I pay attention to with when I'm working with the dogs, is what they're scared of right here. Us as humans, we mess ourselves up because we're so scared of what could have, what already, we scared of what happened 25 years ago. We're nervous about that living today. And that's stuff we need to let go of to be able to live a better life on this planet. And the dogs have been able to show that to me. And that's been able to help me be able to get my own self into a better place of watching a dog to show me the representation of what life is like living right here, right now. That's a beautiful life to live. An absolutely amazing life to live of just not worried about anything else. No expectations, just living. You don't know what's going to happen. We could try to line this up, do this, and how many times do people put all these plans together and it just doesn't turn out? You can plan all you want, but it pretty much never follows through the exact same way that you put that plan. So the more that you're just all on every little detail, which is trying to control more and more, the more you're struggling. And that's what's going on with the dogs. We're trying to control too much, and not allow them to be able to just do what they need to do and make happen what they need to make happen. And that's the part with me of it's already enough that I have to put a leash on the dog to explain what I want. I don't want to have to over control more and more and more on top of that. I want them to understand how to be able to just relax and how to be able to be calm. And that's what I feel like my job as a pet owner is, to get my dogs to be calm. That's my number one thing. I don't care what competition they win. I want to be able to get my dogs to be able to live a nice, calm, relaxed, satisfying life. And that's me being able to give the dog that. I've been able to find that myself. And that's where, again, I always say it's us that starts that. We start that and put that out there. And then we may get it in the end or not. But more than likely, you will get something as a kickback. But we put it out first. I put out first, how do I get this dog that first came to me just jumping wild on everything, crazy, exciting, a lot of laughable moments of seeing what she would do. Just jumping off the couch, over the couch, on the coffee table, just everywhere. Laughable at times, but dangerous because her mind is doing too much. So I've been working every single day, every single month to get her to calm down. And when I see that she starts to calm down, I do. I'm not on edge. She's taught me so much. All my dogs teach me a lot, but this one here is teaching me even more to just learn more and more and more about how life actually works and what more of it is. We do our work and we get stuff done and we be able to calm down. I'm not worried about that next thing. I'm just doing what I need to do.